Hello everyone, welcome to another live stream on my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me tonight. This cute stamp set just came out from Mama Elephant and I can't resist their cute critters with birthday themes. They're too cute. And I am debating whether I want to do a shadow study or not. I might. In fact, yeah, I'll stamp this twice and have one be the shadow study. Oh, and I'm using the wrong ink for Copics anyway, so that'll work. This will be for the shadow study. Doesn't have to be perfect, just the shadow study. And my Copic friendly ink, let's use Honeybee Intense Black. I have yet to open it, but it is alcohol marker friendly. Might have to stamp this twice. And I don't want the lines to kind of, I don't know what's the word. Like if you press the stamp too hard, they can sort of grow. So I'm going to use pretty even pressure, but not a ton of pressure to get these, just in case I need to stamp them again. Looks like I need to stamp them one more time. It's kind of a little faint down here. So we'll stamp them one more time and hopefully it won't make the line too thick. This is a Stampin Bug Glider. This is the princess one, has kitties on it. Okay, oh nice and thick lines. Well, not thick, but very dark. They're going to be perfect for this, especially once I get coloring with my Copics. So a shadow study is basically taking color out of the equation, and it helps you to see where shadows would be. Okay, I have to back up here. With crafting and card making and just being creative, you don't have to have shadows that look realistic. I think anything colored is beautiful. People will love it. But some of us like to have a little bit more direction on where we place our shadows. It helps us feel a little better. Just to have a little bit of direction, like I said. It helps us to have a plan for our coloring. And when you plan out your shadows and your shading before you start coloring, I find that it helps me not be as afraid to add some intense shadow. And I think where your most dynamic and interesting colored images are going to come from will be when there's high contrast. So we're going to do a little shadow study here. So the first thing we do is we decide where the light is going to be from. I think it would probably be smart on this image right here to have the light coming from this, have it come in like this, just because we have that piece of cake cut out. It is going to be darker inside, but I think it'd be a little better to have the light coming from that side. So taking each little section of the image one by one, we're going to start putting shadow in where it would be. So darker on one side. This ear is probably going to be full shadow. That one will probably just have a little bit of shadow right there on the side. In fact, you know what? Let's zoom in. Let's zoom in even more. We're going to have shadow right here. And then it's going to lighten up as it comes across. Better. All right, he's going to have a shadow like under his chin because we want to show the contour of his head. So we're going to have a lot of shadow about right here, and then it's going to lighten up quite a bit, especially because that candle's lit, right? In theory. Basically, I'm just adding a lot of shadow and then having it, there's almost like a shadow line, right? It's like right here, it comes down, contoured around. goes around the arm and then down the belly, right? That same shadow is probably going to come across the cake right there and come down. And then all of this underneath here, except for maybe this part right here, is going to be in shadow. So all of that's in shadow. But basically, giving yourself a nice line like that is going to help the lighting look more dramatic. Now, this foot's going to be all in shadow. This foot probably just a little bit in shadow right there. And we're also going to have just a little bit of a shadow right here at the bottom, right, for where it meets the cake. But all of this on the side is going to be all in shadow. We don't even have to worry about blending it out too much. In fact, I think when you're doing very dramatic shadows like this, not having much of a soft edge on that shadow, I think it looks nicer. Okay, so we're going to have shadow on the inside of the cake, and then it's going to dramatically lighten up as it comes out. Although at the bottom, I think it's going to have a little more shadow, just like that. And we'll also have some shadow right underneath and on the side of the frosting. I love dripped frosting like that on cakes. It looks so cool. Okay. Adding a little shadow on his arm right there. There'll be a shadow from the candle. So about like that. And I think there might be a little more shadow right there too. And I think that about does it. Now, if we want to get really detailed when we start coloring, we can start putting a little bit of shadow on all this like frosting beadwork at the bottom. But it's really up to you. But there would be quite a bit of shadow right in here. And probably underneath all that beadwork. Die cut the our little hammy. All right, I'm gonna get this centered right on our little hammy. And put him through my die cutting machine. Oh, so cute. What a cute little image. And we're just going to have a little image right there, maybe with a little ink blending behind him, and then a greeting right below. Like, we're keeping it so simple today. I mean, we want the purple kind of halo to come out from behind the image, but we don't want it to be like super strong. Like that's completely covered up right now. I'm going to have to definitely go more than that. Okay. Now let's see where it's at. Oh, that's not bad. That's pretty cute. I'm going to adhere it first, and then I'll do my stamping. Okay, and I'm going to use the VersaFine ink. Perfect. So here's the cute little card. Very simple for today. I love to do images like this where it just lets the little image you've created take full focus. We're going to work on an envelope here in a minute, but I'm going to add that glossy accents on the glaze because I love that idea so much. Let me grab my glossy accents. So I'm just going to add glossy accents everywhere that has a little chocolate drizzle. And the glossy accents goes on kind of milky, and as it dries, it will go completely clear. But you can see how glossy that is, and it keeps the gloss. All right, so I'm just gonna let that dry. Get that little guy right there. Stamping in Wisteria. I'm going to put its eyes back in and its little nose. Just like that. All right. I'm going to do kind of like that sketchy line work that I'm going to put that highlight in its eyes. Oh, he's cute. And then when I'm doing postage, the like really old postage where you have to moisten it, I get a paper towel, spray some water in it, and then press the stamp into the paper towel. There we go. All right, so when this is folded down, it looks like that. The back of the envelope is like that, just a little hint of the cloud. So here's the card and envelope for today's live stream. I redid the envelope because I wasn't happy with it the first time around. I love how it turned out now, so I'm glad I redid that. And that's it for today. Just a reminder that my live stream time is changing in March. And if you want to put your input in on what time it's going to be, you can head over to my YouTube page and go to the community tab, and there's a poll. I've picked 3 possible times that you can choose from, and I'll just go with whatever one has the highest percentage of votes. So don't forget to go over and vote for that. And I will be back very soon with another card. Thanks for watching.